Well, if you're here, I want to congratulate you because you're in the right time at the right place and you're finding out that crypto isn't always going up. And if you're still here, that means you have guts because a lot of people panicked and panic sold. In fact, the data showed that at the beginning of the drop, there were a lot of the whales that were selling and they just got that party started. What continued the drop that happened last week and all the blood that was in the streets was that people continued to sell, mostly new investors. In fact, many new investors sold at big losses. Why? Because they're going through the learning curve that so many people go through. What often happens, they then sell at a loss and they leave crypto disgusted. Now, it's really nobody's fault but their own. They're just uneducated on this. And if they're not sticking around like you are, they're not going to learn their lessons and they're just going to think crypto is some kind of scam. What it is an investment class, an asset class. And guess what? It not only goes up, but it does go down. And especially after going up a lot, it then goes down. What are we seeing? Well, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about some things that might happen later this year and how to think about it, at least how I think about it. I'm just a crypto investor myself. Started this YouTube channel about 6 months ago, sharing with you what I'm seeing, what I like, what I don't like, and what's made me successful in crypto trading for my own portfolios and how I think about things. Now, even though I'm relatively new at crypto, just 4 years, I've been investing for 20 years. I like to think that that helps. Why don't we go ahead and get into this? Let me share with you the chart of Bitcoin. And I want to take us back to 2017, 2018, because many of you were not here then. And you'll notice we're in late May, and guess what happened late May of last cycle? They did have some peaks. Now, look how it played out. They had this big peak and they went up almost to $3,000. And then guess what happened? It dropped. Oh my gosh, $1,700. Oh, blood in the streets. That's absolutely terrible. Now, it's cheating a little bit because we can see what happens next. But imagine you couldn't see what happens next. And guess what? People panic sold. And then they were gone and they were out of here. But you're still here, and I want to congratulate you for that. Now, that doesn't mean that this weekend we don't have a further pullback because we had a big bounce back up after a huge retracement. And what sometimes happens is then another big pullback. So we don't know. Is it going to go up from here? Is it going to go down? We're not quite sure. A lot of the brand new money went ahead and sold out at a loss. Maybe they're going to panic buy back in. Who knows what's going to happen? In the short term, it's hard to tell what's likely to happen than in the long term. But my opinion, this is just my opinion only, and it's not financial advice because I don't have a magic crystal ball on how this is going to play out. But we're looking at what happened in 2017. Why don't we go ahead and look back at 2013? And we're going to see a pattern that more likely resembles what we'll see this year, and this is just my guess. We saw this really big parabolic move, we saw this big pullback, and then it bounced up, and then it bounced down again, and it traded sideways before skyrocketing up. Now, I don't know if we have this long of a period for accumulation. Should we be so lucky? Because this is the golden period, and this is the moneymaker period if it plays out like this. Because imagine all these buys in here and how good you did if you were buying and stocking up here before this big parabolic run, as long as you then took profits. Now, even if you didn't take profits and you were buying in here, well, eventually it came down and it touched close to that zone. But if you were buying in most of this zone, it never even quite got there. And then off to the races again, and you have made some really good purchases. So my hope is we're in that little zone now, and that this is a fantastic accumulation period, at least for my own purposes. What you do is really up to you. Now, I like to trade altcoins. Now, they are even more volatile than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is volatile compared to a lot of things you see out there. Guess what's even more volatile than that? Most every single altcoin. What's good about volatility in an up market is it's generally very volatile to the upside. In other words, you get amplified gains. What's bad is if you're stuck holding it when the crypto winter comes, guess what? Your volatility is amplified. So we saw Bitcoin dropping by half here. Know what happened to some of the alts? They went down by 75%, which is terrible. Well, terrible if you sold. It's fantastic if you're still holding that because you haven't realized the loss yet, as well as it's a great time to pick up more of them. Now, it brought my attention to, I remember when I was new in crypto in 2017, I was trying to figure out what was going on. And I remember this guy talking about he had invested in Tron. And he had invested in Tron back here. And he held, and he held, and he held, and he held. And guess what? Right here, he sold because he got impatient. Guess what happened right after he sold? It went parabolic. Now, Tron, last cycle, you probably haven't heard about a lot this cycle because they didn't deliver very well. But last cycle, they were one of the early altcoins saying, hey, we have a new blockchain that's going to do X, Y, and Z. And the truth is, they did get some projects to come over to them in 2018, and they were in the top 10 in 2017, 2018. They just haven't continued to deliver and have become semi-irrelevant. You're not hearing about them. I don't know if they'll even continue to survive, though it did make lots of people rich because look at this long accumulation period and then this parabolic rise. So we don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but I try to look at what patterns happened in the past because a lot of those patterns repeat. And that's how I inform my decisions on how I make better than average trades. Make sense? So I want to share with you some of what's on my mind. I'm thinking about two things. I'm thinking about what are the good deals right now. They're having massive retracements that might have really good future potential. Now, I say the word might because there's two parts of that. Well, if we do have another parabolic rise, most things are going to take off, which is great. That's the timeline I'm looking for from now until a couple months from now, maybe even 6 or 7 months from now. Great timeline. Are they going to make it long term? I don't know. It's helpful if I think they have a strong chance at that. That means within that time frame, maybe they'll do even better. But some of these ones I'm talking about or going to share with you, I think they'll do well long term. That they'll probably be one of the ones that survive. But it has to do with how good they execute. As good as their plans are, as much as I love their plans and the space that they're in and everything, you never can tell how well they will actually execute. So what am I looking at? Well, these are some ones that launched on one of my favorite launch pads. It's a paid Ignition launch pad. And they came out and they went absolutely crazy. EOS actually went 300x. So it went up to like $2.50. Where is it now? 40 cents. Okay, fantastic. Now, I wasn't able to get in on pre-sale or initial DEX offering or anything, so I knew not to buy these prices, and I was waiting. I bought a little bit when it dropped below $1, and I have been picking up some. Now, likely what will happen is you'll get this nice rounded bottom, so it might even be early to buy. It might not be. See how we're getting this rounding following here? That's usually a sign that maybe it's a low. There might be then a little spike up and then another low to really form a W. As to whether that second low is higher than the previous one, we don't know how it'll play out. But I know at a $24 million market cap, it starts getting really interesting to me. Now, do note that their fully diluted market cap is almost 400 million. Well, in the realm of what they're dealing with, EOS 400 million, even if all the tokens were in circulation, to me, feels like a deal. I don't know how this will play out, if they'll do good. This is one of the bets that I'm making. And I'm looking at this and I'm asking myself, can this 10x from here? Can this possibly 50x from here? Can this possibly 100x from here? And my best guess for me is probably. So that's good enough for me. I did pick up some EOS with this dip. The next one I'm really loving right now is ShopX. Now this is split. Again, came out on the Ignition launchpad, did absolutely phenomenal, like 150x or something, went to 473. Now it is less than 1/10 that price. Still up from what pre-sale people and IDO people got it at, but notice how you're getting this nice rounded bottom. Now, I don't know when these things will take off. It has to do with when they come back in focus. And we may have months. We may just have days. We may have weeks. But when I see this is a sign to me to go ahead and start picking up and accumulating. Now, what's terrible about buying here in the short term is it may go down cheaper. And then you're kicking yourself saying, I could have got more cheaper. And this happened with Holochain, which I was buying last, I think it was November, October period, and its chart looked exactly like this, and I was just buying some, and then it dropped some more, I bought some more, and I was like, and then I just set it and forget it. And then I started seeing all these other content creators on YouTube talking about Holochain. I was like, oh yeah, Let me check the price on that. Oh my gosh, I'm way, way, way up. Why? Because I buy low when things get boring. That's when I love it, when things get boring. Nobody talks about that. That's how investors think. I like to buy when it's boring. Guess what? Split right now seems really boring. It's not in the news all the time. That is the time I like to be buying EOS. Not many people talking about it. Not in the news right now. In other words, it's boring. That's why I like to buy. Are they boring projects? No. It's just the focus isn't on them. The focus is in other places, which is great. But the focus usually will circle back around, especially on such powerful projects as this, that they'll likely come into focus and have great gains there. What else am I also thinking about? Well, you've probably noticed in the news the last couple of weeks is the internet computer by Definity. And they're working with this project, Tossin. I say Tossin, I know, Tassin. There we go. That's how I'm really saying it, but I just keep saying Tossin. So they are providing a DEX. What I love about this project, and it's not available, and directly I don't even know that they'll have a token, so I'm watching to see how this plays out, but I'm loving this, that it's going to be cross-chain compatible. Now, you probably saw the interview I did with SmartSwap recently, which is one of the competitors to this, and whose solution is going to win, I don't know. They do have really good, a really solid team behind this. In fact, the StarPack team, I like that they've been working with Definity for a while, but look at this, cross-chain compatible with Binance Smart Chain. There's a lot of that right now, but HBAR, so they are setting this up right. And if they do it well, what I like is they are a non-KYC exchange. So you don't have to go through KYC. You are essentially, it's keeping the transactions private too. And so what hasn't come into focus this cycle very much is privacy. Now, I remember in 2017 when all of a sudden privacy came into focus and everything privacy related took off like crazy. I don't know if that will happen this time. If it does, then Tassin, I am having so much trouble. Tassin has positioned themselves very, very well. I know we have some swaps out there right now, Uniswap, we have QuickSwap, but they're all like decentralized things on one network. That is cool for now. That is not the future. The future is going to be complete interoperability, and the two projects preparing for that that I'm aware of that are decentralized kind of DEXs, and they have different ways that they're accomplishing that, is SmartSwap and Tassin. I am slaughtering their name. Great. Yeah, so maybe the team will reach out to me and talk to me because I'd love to have them on, and they'll say, this is how you pronounce it correctly. So these are some of the things that I'm thinking about. Another one that I'm thinking about is Nifty Pays, and I got some information on this. I don't have their website pulled up, but you can search for it. Basically, as some of these NFTs become of a lot of value, and if you think about it, NFTs encompass so much. Right now, you know, it's mostly stuff related to games, at least it's going that direction, and artwork and other things, and some of them have tremendous value. But also some of the stuff related to games has tremendous value. Imagine as famous pieces of artwork, or say the rights for an album is an NFT, and there might be substantial value for that. Say Jennifer Lopez creates a song, and she puts those rights in an NFT and actually sells that to somebody, and say that's worth $2 million. Well, one of the ways that the market needs to go is being able to take out loans against something of value like an NFT. And so Nifty Pays is going that direction. This comes to me from some of my private networks that are from all the way back in 2017. I reconnected back to them deeply in the last 4 months, and they really filter a lot of stuff that's coming soon, because I was trying to reconnect with what would be up and coming that hasn't hit the public yet, that I can't find any YouTube videos on yet, but still I want to be aware of, so that when it hits I know how to evaluate whether the price is a good deal or not. Should I wait till there's a retrace for a good entry? Exactly what we're going through right here with EOS and Split. And a lot of it has has to do with what is the value and where is the price. And if I don't understand the value because I haven't researched the project, then I don't know if that price initially comes out is a good deal. Now, EOS and Split, fantastic projects, but they caught a huge hype wave and massive growth. So this is not where I'd want to be buying. This is exactly where I want to be buying. Makes sense. Now, I hope you're catching some of my interviews. A lot of these are up and coming projects, and this is coming to me through my network. Now, I would love to get a lot of the projects on here of existing projects, say Charles Hoskinson with Cardano or Sam Bankman-Fried. You know, so great. I'm continuing to work to grow this channel with your help and support. So every time you like my videos and you subscribe, that helps me grow my channel reach. As my channel reach grows, that helps me reach more and more projects. I'm finding it difficult to get interviews with the size of the channel still, and that's okay. It just is what it is. They have limited amounts of time. They get a lot of requests for interviews and other things, but I am having a lot of success getting projects that are up and coming winners and coming on. I had this fantastic interview that I really loved with Bumper Protocol, and what they are doing is amazing. I will be uploading that shortly. I liked it when I read the white paper. I did take it to one of my friends that is really savvy on the DeFi side and had him review it as well. And he confirmed what I was thinking, but he was even more excited than me. I think because he even understood at a deeper level. And then when I had Jonathan, the CEO of Bumper, I keep calling them Bumper Protocol, but it's Bumper Finance, come on. Absolutely fantastic. Love their naming mechanism. Love everything that they're doing. Check out that interview. I think you'll be blown away. As far as the token price, that's still like a month or two out. But so you can start to become aware of the project and start to have an idea so that when it does come out, we can know if when it comes out or, you know, maybe it'll be on a launch pad that you have access to or something. We can evaluate the price. Or, you know, that way we have good feeling for the value. And if the value when it does come out is a good price, or if we need to wait for a big retrace like this with some of these projects like Split and EOS. I do thank each of you for your support in helping this channel grow. It's been amazing. I hope you're liking the interviews that I'm bringing to you, because the promise I made to you was that I'm an investor myself, and I was getting frustrated because I didn't have the reach to reach out to a lot of the projects and get a lot of the information of what's happening behind the scene. Now, still, I've only been at this with the YouTube channel for 5 or 6 months, still trying to figure out how to run a professional channel. I'm completely new to TV, that kind of thing. What I am good at is investing. So hopefully I'm bringing this information to you in a way that's easy for you to understand, because investing is my background. 20 years. I love investing. I'm wired for it. I've got an analytical personality. I think economics 24/7 and how that relates to buyer behavior. It just is the way I'm wired, which is why the primary job that I was working, and I was an independent contractor for them in a partnership arrangement, but I was a professional buyer for an investment company making acquisitions for them, what I tend to be good at. Now, I'm not always right, and just know that up front. I'm just often right. And that often right turns out to be very rewarding, at least for myself. As to what decisions you should make, some of the community's been amazing. I do have a Telegram channel that you can join, and I do chime in there sometimes, usually a couple times a day, sometimes more than that, just depending on how much time I have. If you ever ask me what should you do, I don't know the answer to that. Number one, that would be financial advice. Number two, we all have different goals and other things. I can only answer the question what I do, and I just share with you what I do because I'm sharing with you the principles of why I do things, and I hope that that informs you so that you can make better decisions over time. I'm not about giving people fish, even if that were the actual case. I'm all about sharing with them what I'm doing that's made me a successful fisherman. Does that make sense? All right, guys, I do thank you for joining us. I'm going to leave you with Manuela's song that she did for all you rainmakers that are still here, that are in this market, making things happen for yourself. I know it's frustrating. You went through a bloody week, and yet you're still here. Now, we could have more blood on the streets coming, crypto blood, like not actual blood, but, you know, it feels like blood on the streets when you go through that. Could have more of that coming, who knows, or maybe like 2017, we're ready to take off again. We'll see how this plays out. Personally, I'm hoping for big retraces so that I can make more good buys. And I'm hoping for a longer downtime so that I can continue to stock up like I did in 2018, 2019, 2020. That's led to life-changing results. And I hope each of you are able to accomplish life-changing results. Now, do know if you're just getting started in crypto, it is hard to make complete life-changing results in just one cycle. So if you'll be patient and stick with it and learn and grow yourself and not leave, and obviously try not to make mistakes, but learn from the mistakes that you do make, the chances for you to have life-changing wealth with 2 cycles are much, much higher than just trying to make it all happen in just one. With that said, guys, thank you for joining me. We'll see you soon. Manuela, take it away.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.